So, guys, it looks like the ANC is doing a bit of introspection after failing to get an outright majority during the elections. I mean, these people have been bruised so bad that they cannot even constitute a government by themselves. They need other political parties to come and constitute a government. So a couple of days ago, President Ramaphosa came out and said that the ANC wants to forge a government of national unity. So all the political parties that are represented in government are essentially invited by the ANC to have negotiations and see how the country is going to move forward. And guys, if you remember, a day or two before Ramaphosa came out, Julius Malema did a press conference and said, guys, I heard there's something about government of national unity. The word on the street is that the ANC is going to come out and propose a government of national unity. The EFF wants nothing to do with the government of national unity. We are not Nelson Mandela. This is what Julius Malema said. We are not Nelson Mandela. If the ANC wants to have negotiations with us, they can come and form a coalition. But we want nothing to do with the government of national unity. And the other political party that has been suggested, it's a MK party. But initially, MK party said the only way they're going to negotiate with the ANC is if Ramaphosa steps down as the president of the country. But we saw the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, coming out and saying that if you want to negotiate with Ramaphosa, if you want to negotiate with the ANC, you can come and negotiate with the ANC, but do not tell the ANC who their president should be. So MK party, after that, they released a statement saying, okay, it's fine, we're going to negotiate with the ANC. We thought we had an upper hand, but it's fine. We're going to negotiate with the ANC and see how everything is going to go. But guys, other political parties are actually in favor of the government of national unity. I'm talking about political parties like the DA, IFP, Patriotic Alliance. These people do not have any problems with the government of national unity. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this whole thing is going to pan out, with the EFF already sidelining itself, saying that we want nothing to do with the government of national unity. Other people are saying that is because maybe the ANC said no to the proposal of the EFF. You remember the EFF said that they want Floyd Shivambu, the deputy president of the EFF, to be the finance minister, and they want, I don't remember what's that lady's name, to be the speaker of parliament. So other people are saying maybe the ANC said no to the EFF, and now Julius Malema is just throwing out his tantrums. So let's wait, guys, and see how everything is going to pan out.
And as we have been reporting, that the ANC has invited all political parties represented in Parliament to form a government of national unity. The party's National Executive Committee met in Ekurhuleni to map a way forward following last month's elections. The ANC has been forced to form a coalition government with other political parties for the next 5 years after losing its majority. Alliance partners have given their opinion on who they'd prefer the ANC to work with and why. Now we are joined by the ANC Veterans League President, Snuki Zikalala, to get the sense of what they make of the announcement that followed the NEC meeting. Bab Zikalala, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. So following that NEC meeting, what is it that the ANC Veterans League has been mulling over?
Well, as the ANC Veterans League, we fully support the outcome of the NEC on Wednesday. And of course, we regret that we've lost 17% of our votes. And of course, they were mainly taken by MK party. And we
no, Snuki, the mandate was not taken by the MK party. The mandate has been taken by the people. It is not the MK party. It is the people. So do not blame the MK party. Blame South African voters for being pissed off at the ANC. Blame South African voters. Guys, you remember a couple of days before the elections, Snuki Zikalala did an interview on Newsroom and told the South Africans that the ANC is number one when it comes to service delivery. The ANC is number one when it comes to transformation. So it is so funny to see the likes of Snuki Zikalala actually coming back to the mainstream media, humbled by the election results.
We never saw it coming. But at the same time, we are saying that the MK party, and we never saw it coming.
I mean, guys, Snuki Zikalala says that they didn't see MK coming. Are these people actually suggesting that Jacob Zuma does not have support? Or they didn't know that Jacob Zuma has support? Everyone knew that MK party spelled the troubles for ANC. When Jacob Zuma came out on the 16th of December and announced MK party, everyone knew that this is going to be a problem for the ANC because Jacob Zuma is quite popular in the country. But Snuki Zikalala, a leader of the ANC Veterans League, says that we didn't see MK coming. That's how out of touch these people are. They didn't see Jacob Zuma coming. I mean, like, maybe this is the reason why the ANC didn't deal decisively with Jacob Zuma. Maybe this is the reason why the ANC has actually allowed Jacob Zuma to campaign as the member of the ANC, but campaigning to decampaign the ANC. We told them that this is going to bring problem for them. Everyone who was actually sitting back and analyzing the situation actually knew that Jacob Zuma with this MK party, they were going to bring many problems to the ANC. So I don't understand why Snuki Zikalala is sitting there and saying that they didn't see MK coming. Everyone in the country saw MK coming.
But at the same time, we are saying that our people of South Africa have spoken and against the ANC's failure to address the basic issues like service delivery and also corruption. And so, and we are determined, and the ANC is determined to ensure that those who are found involved in malfeasance, they should be dealt with by law enforcement agencies.
I mean, if this was the policy of the ANC would not be in this position to start with. If the ANC actually believed that the people that are corrupt needs to be held accountable, the ANC would not be in this position. So stop saying this is ANC's policy. It is not the policy of the ANC. You are where you are today because this is not your policy. This is something that you've only been speaking about. But when it comes to implementation, you've done nothing about it. Ramaphosa paraded Shamila Batoyi when he became the president of the country. And he said that this woman is going to deal with all the corrupt cadres. He paraded Shamila Batoyi. And what did Shamila Batoyi do? Nothing. Nothing. How many comrades are actually thrown to jail under Ramaphosa? How many comrades right now are being dragged to the courts under Ramaphosa? How many? So this is not the position of the ANC. It is nice to say, but when it comes to implementation, you guys have not been implementing all of these things that you are talking about.
And so we fully support the Government of National Unity. We fully support the program that was spelled out by the president of the ANC after the ANC. And so we hope that parties will come together, and the president made it very clear that there are bare minimums that all the parties must look at. It's a question of ensure that the parties that we enter into any agreement with, we have to have shared common values. Values like stability, accountability, ethics, integrity, community participation, good governance, and of course the constitutional democracy is sacrosanct.
Snuki Zikalala is talking about accountability, he's talking about good governance. Man, these are things that the ANC cadres know nothing about. Good governance, accountability. These are things that the ANC cadres know nothing about. So stop claiming these things as your own. Stop claiming these things as your own. Maybe say that, okay, moving forward, these are things that the ANC is going to prioritize. But do not sit there and actually say that these are things that the ANC actually prioritizes, because you are not prioritizing these things. Like I said before, if you had prioritized all of these things that you are talking about, you wouldn't be in this position that you are in today. You wouldn't be so humble the way that you are humble today.
Cannot be discussed, not debated. And of course, the question of the rule of law in the country. And so those are the bare minimums that we are saying, that we, on those issues, we are not compromising. Secondly, the president made it very clear that our 6 priorities.
He said the ANC is not compromising on the rule of law.
Issues were not compromising. Secondly, the president made it very clear that our 6 priorities should be adhered to, and that's one of the old things that the president said he should look at. Is a question of put South Africa first to work, build our industries, invest in our people, and also make sure that we defend democracy and ensure that our people's lives are being safe, and we provide quality service in terms of health and education. Those are the 6 priorities, and of course get rid of corruption. And we don't compromise on those issues, because we believe in unitary state, and also we believe in mobilizing all South Africans of all racial groups to be part and parcel of this new path that we are about to begin, especially on the 7th administration.
Yeah.
But like Snuki Zikalala is talking about pulling everyone on this government of national unity thing. But it's so funny when you see people like Lindiwe Sisulu going out on national television and saying that the ANC must form the government of national unity with the black political parties, with the quote-unquote black political parties. Like, it is so weird. The messaging that is coming out of the ANC, it is not clear. Because some of the alliances, partners of the ANC, they are not saying what Snuki Zikalala is talking about. Snuki Zikalala is saying, because the ANC is a non-racial political party, then we need to have everyone on this government of national unity thing. But other members of the ANC, they are out saying that the ANC only needs to form coalition with quote-unquote black political parties. So the ANC honestly needs to do something about their messaging. Because other people are saying that, no, we don't want this non-racial thing. We wanted to form a government with only black political parties. Then you have other leaders in the ANC saying that we want to bring everyone in when it comes to this thing of the government of national unity.
What's the Veterans League's interim assessment of what went wrong here? 17%. That is the biggest loss that the ANC has ever suffered since the dawn of our democracy, and also losing around 71 seats in the National Assembly. What do you think, as the Veterans League, went wrong?
Well, what went wrong is that we were not decisive, to be honest with you, and taking action against Jacob Zuma when he formed the Umkhonto we Sizwe party, because he said he's a member of the Umkhonto we Sizwe party, at the same time he's a member of the African National Congress. Of course, discipline should have been taken immediately. Of course, the DC was taken, and of course, when he was supposed to be, and he was to go to a DC, he said he was not well, and it was postponed. And the time when he was supposed to have a DC physically, then Umkhonto we Sizwe people wanted to come and demonstrate and disrupt the DC proceedings. And so we said, for safety's sake, let's postpone it to after the elections. And this confused our people. I'm not saying that our people are blind, our people are ignorant. It confused our people because we are made to understand that in some of the voting stations in the rural areas, the MK people said to ordinary South Africans that when you see the spear and the face of Jacob Zuma, he's still a member of the African National Congress. And when you vote for MK party, you're still voting for the ANC because...
And who actually believes something like that? I mean, can you imagine walking into a voting station, then someone tells you that, you see, if you see Jacob Zuma there and MK, and you tick with Jacob Zuma and MK, you are as good as ticking on ANC on Ramaphosa. Who actually believes that? And who believed these people when they said that? And how true is this thing that Snuki Zikalala is talking about? Because right now, it seems like he just wants to blame Jacob Zuma for something. He just wants to blame Jacob Zuma for something. Truth of the matter is that ANC didn't know how to deal with Jacob Zuma. They didn't know how to deal with Jacob Zuma. I mean, the last time, the ANC said that we want to bring Jacob Zuma to Lutuli House for disciplinary hearing. I mean, we had to come to the platforms and say that, guys, Jacob Zuma is going to do what Jacob Zuma does. After that disciplinary hearing, Jacob Zuma is going to deliver a speech outside Lutuli House. You are actually giving Jacob Zuma a chance to rally outside of the ANC. That is only when these people from the ANC came back and said, no, we cannot have Jacob Zuma in Lutuli House. We cannot have Jacob Zuma in Lutuli House. We told you that this is what Jacob Zuma does. Every court case, after that court case, you will find Jacob Zuma outside addressing the masses. This is the same thing that he was going to do outside of the ANC. But you guys didn't know. It seems like you guys were not aware that this is exactly what Jacob Zuma wanted. Jacob Zuma wanted so much to go to Lutuli House so that he can deliver this speech outside of Lutuli House. I mean, people in the media, they had to make noise for you guys to understand what is it that you are doing. The fact of the matter is that you failed to deal with Jacob Zuma. You failed to expel Jacob Zuma when you guys still had time. I mean, if you guys could have expelled Jacob Zuma by January, by the time the elections were held, the dust could have settled. But you guys kept on debating about should we expel Jacob Zuma? No, we must not expel Jacob Zuma. If we expel Jacob Zuma, then this man is going to take a lot of our support. You didn't expel Jacob Zuma, but he still took your support. So if I was an ANC member, I would have felt better knowing that I expelled Jacob Zuma and Jacob Zuma cost us the votes. I would have felt better knowing that I did the right thing. And after doing the right thing, we actually faced the consequences. But you guys, you failed to deal with Jacob Zuma and you still faced the consequences. You're on your own. He outsmarted you, man. The way Jacob Zuma played politics, man, in this previous year, I mean, Jacob Zuma is a genius. The way this guy played politics, he outsmarted you guys, all of you there in the ANC. He outsmarted you. You kept dragging him to court, and he kept winning the court. He kept winning the court cases. You knew that you had no basis to drag this man to the court, but you took him to the court regardless. And after the court, you gave Jacob Zuma a chance to actually do a rally. So ANC is the one that gave MK all of the publicity. MK got a publicity worth millions and millions of rands because of the ANC. He outsmarted you, man.
Zuma is still a member of the African National Congress. And so have we dealt with that immediately? I'm sure that was not going to confuse our people. Secondly, have we dealt...
I mean, like, this is what people said. Expel Jacob Zuma. You still have time. Elections are 5 months away. This is what people said in January. Expel Jacob Zuma so that by the time the elections come, the dust would have settled. You failed to do that.
with those who are implicated in state capture as speedily as possible. People would have seen that we are serious in dealing with corruption, but the ANC has committed itself to make sure that those who are involved in state capture and VBS will be dealt with. They will be dealt with severely, because the only thing that is outstanding is the law enforcement agencies. They must speed up these cases so that people must not think that there's a witch hunt within the African National Congress. That's what went wrong. Of course, it's a question of our structures on the ground. They were not strong, they were not solid. I was deployed in KZN, especially in a branch called, a sub-branch called Gezehlegisa. And I asked them, but you're still called Gezehlegisa branch? They said, yes, we'll change the branch after the elections. The comrades were accommodative. The comrades supported the values and the principles of the ANC. There was no sign of MK party there, none at all. And for some of us, we're really shocked. We're really shocked. And so up to now, we don't know how did this happen. But all that we're saying is a question of political education. A renewal program must start immediately on the ground. The Veterans League Renewal Committee met on Wednesday, where we are saying we're going to start political education at ground level, so that people must know the values, the principles, and the program of action of the African National Congress. That's the only thing that we can do. And of course, we make sure that coming 2026 elections, we have dealt with the issues of service delivery. I was deployed also to deal with local government initiative. We did our best, but it was too late. Of course.
I mean, Snuki Zikalala is talking about the service delivery. He's talking about dealing with the state capture accused. I mean, these are things that you guys should have dealt with a couple of years ago. You should have dealt with this a couple of years ago. But like, it's so soothing, man, to see the man. Like, you see this 40%. This 40% has actually woken you people up. It has actually woken you people up and realized that it's an insult for someone to be implicated in state capture and this person to still work with the president. I'm talking about Nomvula Mkonyane. You guys remember how exposed Nomvula Mkonyane got during the state capture commission? This woman was literally exposed by Angelo Agriz. Angelo Agriz exposed Nomvula Mkonyane so much that he told us the color of the mat of Nomvula Mkonyane's house. But this woman is still working with the president. That is an insult to the president. And the corruption stories, they came left, right, and center. You did nothing about it. You did nothing about it. So for you to say that we're gonna deal with this matter and the matters of service delivery, man, it is so soothing sitting here listening to the ANC people speak like this, because this is where we wanted you. We wanted you to understand that your arrogance is not gonna work. Your arrogance is going to cost you the votes. And you thought that you're always gonna have the majority. So you thought that we always gonna be arrogant because we fought for this country.
because we made sure that transformers are there in Soweto, in Midlands, that there's no electricity disruptions. We did our best, and I think we are capable of fixing what is broken within the local government municipalities, and ensure that we provide quality services to our people. We as veterans, we are fully behind the program that the president pronounced, and we hope that the government of national unity will give us stability and ensure that we bring more investments inside the country itself.
Yeah. What about Phala Phala? Don't you think that could have played a role as well in how the ANC handled Phala Phala? And take you back to how the ANC, for instance, handled issues relating to former President Jacob Zuma and the motions of no confidence, which were all defeated up until I think the last one was in September 2018. And about 5-6 months later, the ANC then decides to recall former President Jacob Zuma. He asked, why are you calling on me to step down? Then comes Phala Phala. Phala Phala happens. There's a Section 89 panel report. It says that there's prima facie evidence. There should be a panel that is set up. The panel was then set up, and whether there should be an inquiry then that is led by Parliament to look into whether the President himself is guilty of any of the prima facie evidence that was put forward. The ANC had an NEC meeting. The NEC meeting decided that they will defend the President in Parliament, which they did on the basis that the President is going to take the report on review. Later on, the Constitutional Court said, well, actually, we can't be the court of first instance for this, therefore take it back to a lower court. The President then decided that the matter is moot because Parliament has already adopted not to adopt this particular report. Again, it was the ANC using its majority, some would argue, to circumvent the level of accountability that is required to hold the President also accountable.
Of course.
Eldrin, in terms of Phala Phala, the Integrity Commission, which is chaired by Reverend Frank Chikane, has put in recommendations, and it has cleared the President. The Integrity Commission has done its job. And so, in as far as we are concerned as the African National Congress, we can't go back to that. And the report will be presented to the NEC as soon as possible by the SG. And so I think the sooner he does that in the next NEC, the better, because as we are saying that people think that the President is still guilty of Phala Phala. But that matter has been dealt with by the...
People know that Ramaphosa is guilty. Like, it's not like people think that Ramaphosa is guilty of Phala Phala. People know that Ramaphosa is guilty of Phala Phala. People know. So stop saying that people think that Ramaphosa is still guilty of Phala Phala. As if South Africans do not understand what's going on. You make it look like you guys are the only ones who understand what's happening with the Phala Phala. So we think that Ramaphosa is still guilty, but you know that the matters have been dealt with. You see this whole thing of Phala Phala. This is one issue that is going to take Ramaphosa out. Ramaphosa will never escape Phala Phala. Ramaphosa will never escape Phala Phala. He will never. If there's one thing that is going to take out Ramaphosa, it's going to be Phala Phala.
Integrity Commission. There are no cases that the Integrity Commission has not dealt with. Cases that affect the integrity of the organization that were referred and where the Integrity Commission called individuals to come and account. It has no cases on their books currently. And so the issues that are dealing with legislative matters and court matters, I can't get into that because I'm not part of those processes. I'm sure the presidency is in a better position to answer that, or the new Speaker of Parliament will be in a position to answer that.
Yeah, but as the Veterans League, how do you view how the ANC dealt with that particular matter? And we can't say that the ANC's Integrity Committee is almost like the equivalent of a Section 89, an 89 panel. This is the party's own internal processes to hold its own members accountable. Then there is the process that happens outside of the political arena within the ANC that is happening in Parliament, and the ANC essentially circumvented that.
Eldrin, what we are saying is that even the president said in his own words, let the SIU investigate and take action against him. Now, we are waiting for that report. That report is still not there. The president made it very clear that let them do so, and he's not going to interfere with the arms of the law. And he has.
I mean, guys, anyone who believes that Ramaphosa is not going to interfere with that, I mean, come on. I mean, come on. Like, just imagine Ramaphosa saying that, let SIU come and investigate me, and I'm not going to interfere. Of course you're going to interfere. Of course he's going to interfere. Of course. So a couple of minutes ago, Snuki Zikalala was talking about how the ANC needs to deal with corruption. But now that the focus is on Ramaphosa, he's coming with the technicalities. No, of course Ramaphosa is going to interfere. There is no way Ramaphosa is not going to interfere.
Never interfered. And so we then plead with the SIU to speed up the investigation and so that this matter is laid to rest. And so there's nothing more that we can do, to be honest with you. And so we depend entirely on the law enforcement agencies to do their work. And the president has never interfered, and he has made it very clear that he is not going to interfere. And so I would really plead that let's wait for the law enforcement agencies
it's not
to
about
do
the
their work.
president necessarily, but it's about the ANC and the conduct of the ANC when it comes to their presidents. And again, I pointed out what happened with former President Jacob Zuma and what is happening now with President Cyril Ramaphosa. So it's about the conduct of the party and how people who...
I mean, Snuki doesn't want to admit that the ANC defends its people when they are wrong. And this is the point that Eldrin is trying to drive, that you guys are defending Ramaphosa the same way you defended Jacob Zuma. You are failing to acknowledge that the ANC is defending its president when they are wrong.
Pointed out what happened with former President Jacob Zuma and what is happening now with President Cyril Ramaphosa. So it's about the conduct of the party and how people who are part of the electorate view the ANC and how the ANC uses its power in Parliament.
Yeah, but all that you're saying, Adrian, the internal processes were not yet complete, and we cannot rush into issues that affecting the individual, whether it's guilty or not guilty. For instance, to take the issue of Zikalala, we had to wait for the NPA to charge him. We had to wait for that. Though he was infringing state capture, we had to wait for that. And so when Johannes was charged last week on Wednesday, he immediately stepped aside. And so we believe in the rule of law as the African National Congress. That is why we are saying parties that enter into an agreement with the ANC, they must believe in the rule of law, because no one is above the law in this country at all. None. No individual is above the rule of law.
Yeah, but even when it comes to Zikalala, the ANC Veterans League came out to say that people implicated in state capture, in the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, must not be allowed to stand for Parliament. They must not be on the list, even before he was charged. So the Veterans League was able to make that particular call without saying that we're only going to wait for him to be charged first, and then we're going to say that they must step aside. But let's move over now to the conversation around the government of national unity. How would the Veterans League like to see this play out? Who should be mediating? Who should be facilitating this conversation? The UDM has called for a retired judge alongside other political parties, calling for a retired judge to be appointed. What's the Veterans League's take on this?
Well, what we are saying in our document on coalitions and agreements that we have to enter with other parties, we are saying that the party that has won the largest votes should lead the coalition agreement in government or in municipalities. We have won the largest vote. We've got 40% of our people said the ANC must still lead in terms of government. The second party that is there is the DA, and then of course the third party is MK party. The fourth party is EFF, and the fifth party is IFP. And so that is why the African National Congress is leading the negotiations in terms of forming a government of national unity. And of course, there's a team. There's a competent team that has been set up by the president. That is the 5 officials, plus 4 competent NEC members who are part and parcel of that team. And of course, as veterans, we wanted to be part and parcel of that team, but we felt that the team is too big. If you have many people, it will cause a lot of confusion. And so we decided, especially as Veterans League, the Youth League, and Women's League, we wanted to be part and parcel of that team. But we have confidence in that team that they'll be able to bring about a solution that will unite South Africans. It has shown, these elections have shown that we have drifted away from the so-called colored communities, we have drifted away from the Indian community, we have drifted away from the white community.
Because you serve your people. Your comrades are talking about our people. This is the reason why you have lost these people. You have failed to uphold the integrity of Nelson Mandela. You have failed to uphold that. And this is the reason why you people are being punished. Because the ANC has essentially turned into a racist party. You have turned into something that you fought against. The ANC fought tooth and nail so that South Africa can get rid of this racism. But you guys ended up being racist because you are talking about your people, our people this, our people that, and you are neglecting other communities, forgetting that South Africa is so diverse. We have so many people that are living in this country, coming from all walks of life, and all of these people, they need to be attended to. And you've turned against something that you've been fighting about, that you've been fighting your whole lives. I'm not surprised that people now have decided to step away from the ANC. I'm not surprised. The ANC is a fun, man. You guys still remember that 2019 Muslim man with the DA. ANC is a fun.
These are South Africans. The second biggest party, which is the DA, they won 20% of the votes. And so you can't just wish them away and aside. And so those are South African citizens. And so we believe in the will of people. And so we are saying that let them go in there, put our principles on the table. Let's agree with a party that will say they support our constitutional values, they support the rule of law, and also they support the economic development of the country. We have lost lots of investments just before the elections results were announced. And so we want to claw back those investments and create jobs in the country, bring about stability in the country. That's what is important. We're a unitary state, want to bring all South Africans together. That is why we believe in the government of national unity.
Yeah. And then with that said as well, the Veterans League had come out, even before the elections, to say that the ANC should at least look into working with the Democratic Alliance.
Yes.
Where does the Veterans League stand now, considering that the ANC is below that 50% plus one majority? Are there any political parties that you are saying that it's a total no-no?
Well, the party that we said it's a total no-no, but the NEC said let's go back to them. It's a MK party and the EFF. MK party because they are saying that they don't recognize the constitution itself. They put in a condition first, but understand they withdraw it to saying that the president must not be president of the ANC, and then because they're unreliable. Some of them are using state capture money. And so, but the NEC said, let's approach them, let's talk to them. We agree with what the NEC said. We are part and parcel, we're an integral part of the ANC. But we know very well that you won't reach any conclusion with the MK party because they don't have a constitution, they don't have structures, they don't abide by our constitutional values.
It's a one-man show.
And so we know they don't meet the criteria that we've made. The same thing with EFF. We said as the Veterans League on the EFF that we know that in municipalities where we have co-governed, that the MMC's position that we've given them, they've misused them. Yeah. But we are saying that let's give them a chance, let's hear what they are saying, but we are not going to compromise on our constitutional values, on the rule of law, which they don't believe in, and of course on governance. We are not going to compromise on that.
Okay.
And so we are saying let's talk to all of them, but we are very skeptical of the MK party, we are skeptical of the EFF, but we'll go with what the collective is saying, because the collective said let's talk to them. They must buy into our value system.
All right.
And so
man, you are out of your mind if you think Jacob Zuma is going to buy into the values of the ANC. I think Jacob Zuma telling South Africans that he wants to get rid of constitution. It tells us everything that we need to know about Jacob Zuma. Him wanting to get rid of the constitution. It tells us everything that we need to know about Jacob Zuma. So if I was ANC, I was not even going to be entertaining the negotiations with the MK party. I know that MK party has got a lot of votes. It's fine. But I can take other political parties. If I was ANC, I was never gonna negotiate anything with the MK party. But we're gonna see how everything is gonna go. Guys, me, I'm just happy that the ANC finally has been humbled. I'm happy that these people are now starting to realize that we have failed to deal with these matters, and this is the reason why we are here today. But knowing ANC, before 2026, these people will be all over television again, arrogantly telling South Africans that they have no choice but to pick ANC. Guys, please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye bye.